So day one has been completed in the first test, West Indies versus New Zealand at Seddon Park in Hamilton. West Indies captain Jason Holder got lucky at the toss, calling correctly, and did what seemed at that point the right decision, having to bowl first on what was a very, very green track. By the end of the day, though, West Indies weren't that lucky, as Kane Williamson and Tom Latham forced a partnership of 154 after the early loss of debutant Will Young to lead New Zealand to 243 for 2 by stumps. Williamson is eyeing his 22nd test ton. He's not out on 97, and Latham, the opener, made 86. Ross Taylor is not out on 31 in partnership with Williamson. That is so far worth 7-5. Akeem Greene alongside me. A good toss to win there, Akeem, but the Black Caps certainly the half-year bunch by the end of the day.
Yeah, I think that is often the trend in New Zealand. I think sometimes touring teams get carried away with the conditions. Previously, it looks a green wicket, right? But it isn't. You would expect, let's say, in Perth, etc., in Australia, where it's green, it bounces. It seems about. It is green, but it's still very good for batting. So at times, you could make a bold decision to bat first, even though it continues good throughout. But that being said, it isn't a bad wicket to bat second on either. It doesn't gonna deteriorate a lot. So either way, batting first, batting second, it not too much a big difference. But I would have loved to bat first on it. I think the West Indies went wrong is that they didn't attack the stumps enough. Too many balls just back up a good length. On that kind of wicket with seaming around, you got good quality seamers. You could have, I guess, got a yard for the Avenash in terms of getting the batsman to play more, and that could have been a bit more decisive in the wicket column.
So West Indies got an early wicket, that of Will Young, very early on in the piece. Tom Latham got an edge. Well, a supposedly edge towards the end of the first session, which automatically was the second session based on how things worked out yesterday. But apart from that, West Indies must be disappointed, though, that it did not get more wickets on that first day. But we also have to take into consideration, Akeem, that Roach Gable and these guys have not played Test cricket for a few months.
Yeah, I guess then looking at how things pan out, I guess that it was a bit underrated, I should say. Sorry, the performances in the warm-up fixtures, because as far as the outcome is very reflective for how the bowlers were in the wicket columns in the 2 warm-up matches. But both the coach and the captain stated that they're not really worried because these guys are experienced and they know what they're supposed to be doing. So in some regards, they were certainly trained for such a bowling performance. But maybe, as you rightfully said, just not the rhythm is back as yet. Hopefully tomorrow they could get some early wickets. But the silly thing about it, Avenash, I guess this is why people are genuinely frustrated by the West Indies consistency. I know rhythm and these things are all elements in fast bowling, but to play international cricket, you got to hit your mark, from first ball. So they kind of behind the 8 ball because New Zealand could go on to post, let's say, in excess of 450, and then it really becomes out of West Indies' hands. More than likely, you're looking more at a draw with a 450 first innings total.
Yeah. But take nothing away from New Zealand, though. Williamson especially, nullify whatever threat there was on that wicket. And he's nearing now his 22nd Test ton. Fantastic innings from Williamson in partnership with Latham, who has been outstanding as well in his own rights for New Zealand. I think I've been checking some stats since 2018. Latham has averaged 52.3 with 500 and 650s. So he's right up there with top performers for New Zealand Test cricket.
Yeah, that is quality. And if anything in being in the field could be good for West Indies, is being able to see how these guys craft their innings, to see how these guys, go through those tough periods. Because Roach and Gabriel especially had some good moments. Look at Jason Holder, economical he was. It shows that he's hitting some good areas, but these guys show grit and determination. And the same thing about it, there was a missed chance. People say that Darvish should have taken that one. I know he left it for first slip, but those are things that could come back to haunt you. I know they got him before, but Williamson is the guy who can go on and accelerate. It was interesting though. I didn't get to speak to Jason before, the usual pre-match, but I was wanting to find out how much about Kane's game he know, given the IPL link. It seemed he was on a ball against Kane, but I was just curious about how many insight he was gotten into how Kane thinks as a leader and very much into how he goes as a batsman.
Finally, we have noticed time and time again West Indies have let the ball down, especially in recent times, we saw what happened in England with the bowling attack as well. As Phil Simmons, the coach, as Jason Holder, how do you motivate the guys heading into that second day? What do you say to them?
Look, you just gotta put what happened yesterday behind you. If you can get some wickets, you could limit New Zealand to 350 thereabouts. You're still in it. But if you allow these guys to go on, Ross Taylor is a very experienced character. He's gonna know how to come back and play. So just look, you gotta say, look, we had a bad first day, not the best of first days you would have want, but you just gotta go attack the stumps more, take catches, and be aggressive in the field.
So that's it. New Zealand 243 for 2 at stumps on day 1 of the first test against West Indies in Seddon Park in Hamilton.